You're listening to RDDC, the Real Double Dose Channel.
Where real voices speak, real stories matter. And authority isn't just a word, it's a way of life.
God-centered, purpose-driven.
Built for hearts and minds that are ready to rise.
RDDC Broadcast Media Network. Welcome home.
Hello, 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 my wonderful, amazing RDC Familianz. This is your girl Lexus T with the Real Double Dose Channel and realdoubledosechannel.com. I know it has been a little moments in between, but I have so much brewing in store and excited for all of us, especially you. It's fun, it's exciting, it's here. But if you're new here, welcome. If you haven't been on here or just haven't been on here in a while, whatever else it may be, we see you, we see your downloads, we see your love from all over. We see you visiting from Finland to Germany to everywhere, from Hawaii, from Puerto Rico, from Georgia, Florida, Philadelphia, Atlanta, everywhere we can go, from the Midwest to the East Coast to the West Coast to the South. Yes, I said the dirty South. Boom. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, my mama's a Southern girl, with her res and all. Though I want to be able to give more fruitfulness from the 500 episodes plus we have going on and the different things going on in general. Now, people are supposed to be coming in different conversations, but we're very selective, as you know, on what kind of stories and what conversations are there, because everyone doesn't mean fruitfulness, and different things are in a journey to where they're unpacking and unfolding, and hopefully more people and more organizations, more community can share that robustness. But this is your girl Lex coming at you straight from the heart, where the talk is real and the vibe is always live, because we're here in this life. So let me get this conversation with you, because I wanted to call the FMV, right? Which they call the fair market value. I found out a little bit more deeper later on. But this is called hashtag customers only. And you might be like, Lex, what you mean customers only? Now, this doesn't matter if you have a business or you're in your business, minding your business, and somebody's trying to get in your business, okay, beloveds? Porque tú sabes, okay? Now, I want to say, right? So let me say something that may be uncomfortable in business and in life, though. Just hear me out. So we will give our finest energy to people who have not invested one honest thing in us. And this is the truth, right? Then turn around and give our leftovers to the people who have already bought the cup of coffee. And I'm just saying, a reference point, shared the message, sat through the conversation, offered the prayer, kept the appointment, or simply listened without trying to take over our story. Can you feel me? Yes, beloveds. We chase the new so hard that we start treating proven support like background furniture. Preach. Now, this is huge, massive notes that I have. And sometimes I have to obviously have something to help organize them. So bear with me on it. But this is, have you ever had that, right? Where you have someone, that people who invested and not invested, right? We turn around and give those things to something else that's not fitting of it. So let me repeat that one more time, right? So we will give our finest energy to people. Excuse me, that's my Latina hood coming out with my fast tongue. But I'm just saying, we will give our finest energy to people who have not invested one honest thing in us. Then turn around and give our leftovers to the people who have already bought the cup of coffee. Shared the message, right? Sat through the conversation, offered the prayer, kept the appointment, excuse me, or simply listened without trying to take over our story or just throw it away with theirs. We chase the new so hard that we start treating proven support like background furniture. That's not the case. You need to get your focal point. Our focal point should be to what's there and showing prominent support. And so often, even in parenthood, life, and different things I've seen in the parenthood with me, I mean, I'll be having my baby soon, one day, God willing, apart from the ones I've raised. And I still feel like the mother of the earth in my own right, though we do that a lot. So, excuse me, I had some cranberry juice and my throat is just like not. I feel like that song, Let Me Clear My Throat. but it's just a little puckery, so my throat is not agreeing with me right now. So just bear with me, beloveds. Um, so today I want to talk about what I'm calling hashtag customers only. And no, I'm not talking about excluding people or putting a dollar sign on every human interaction, beloved. So get that out your mind, clear it out, okay? No defensive wall. You know, I'm only here for elevation and calibration and alignment with God. That's what we do. And just raw, real, and excited. That's the only difference, okay? And I'm not talking about the things where human interaction is only perceived as a value of dollar or anything else. I'm talking about stewardship, though. Okay? Stewardship. I'm talking about, setting aside some of our best time, right? Our thought, creativity, appreciation, and access for the people who have already shown us that this connection is not a one-way extraction point. Because I'm gonna say por qué? Porque investment is not always a check. We know that. Sometimes it needs to be checked, but sometimes investment is attention. Sometimes it's a prayer. Sometimes it's a word of truth. And sometimes it is someone returning when there is no spotlight on us. Okay, so businesses are taught to obsess over customer acquisition, new leads, new followers, new email addresses, new people walking through the door, right? And I've worked with plenty of companies from high to low and low to high to see that for face value, right? In there getting into the executive mindset and seeing different things and how people just let it fall because they had some source of higher level power in that company and they just literally just sat there sipping their coffee. And that's no shade, it's just the truth. Even when advice was given to them in counsel, it was more of an ego check that they didn't check themselves on. But what sense does it make to spend $100 chasing a stranger, right? While failing to send a sincere thank you to the person or the people who are already spent $30 with you, or that sense. What sense does it make, right, to create a beautiful welcome for a new subscriber while the longtime listener cannot get one thoughtful follow-up? And you know what? Remember, if you I'm still working on the newsletter and different stuff with us and our team in the back end, but I appreciate you. I do. Okay. Sometimes people are in this quote tech engaged. I won't say tech savvy because I love my tech, but at the same time, it's like it does make sense to, hey, welcome in, we're here. And I remember this one company I had. I still deal with them. They got a pretty cool product I like. Only one particular one right now I'm on, but I'm like, man, I spend at least a good $50 with you a month. And at first they were really good at marketing and anything could happen, everyone. So just know that it's like, it could be a sales problem where they can't afford the thing, or the autoresponder not working, or they don't know, or whatever it might be. But I would find a way, especially if people are investing in that and keeping up. I don't have any sales promotions from them anymore. It was nice for the little coupon codes here, but just to follow up, like, hey, I hope everything's fine. And it almost made me want to drop off. If the product wasn't so good, I probably would have already. But I'm thinking, I'm still looking at other areas now where I'm like, that's kind of cool. It feels like they kind of dropped off in the water, and I wish to know why. Maybe I should email them. That's what I'm just saying. But that's how I could feel like, hey, someone else comes in and notice like, hey, this is, you might see it in an ad. This is for only new customers only. They give a huge package deal, and you're thinking, man, I didn't get that on my sign up, but I've been rocking with you guys for 3 years. And I can't even get it. Hey, we have this promotion going out to new people, but we're not forgetting about those who have been sustaining us. So here's a little something for you, right? It doesn't have to be the whole longevity of the promo, but it could be something just to say, hey, thanks for sticking with us. Okay, keep that in mind, everyone. Coach, influencer, consultant, business owner, bakery owner, laundry facility. Okay, well, I think I said restaurant. Clothing, jewelry, whatever it is, it needs to have a follow-up. Okay, so the person who already invested has given us information. They told us that something here was worth their time. Okay, trust, money, attention, or reputation. So when they refer us, they are lending us their name. When they return, they are giving us another chance to serve them. So that should not make us lazy. That should make us more intentional. Absolutely. Just like this cranberry is intentional to my throat. No shade. But it should make us more intentional. It should give us that much more. Like, man, they said that about me. Next time you come in, I'm gonna hook you up with some extra breadsticks. I got you, right? Next time you come in, I'm gonna make sure I let you know, hey, just don't even worry about that extra $10. I'm not saying you have to do that, but every once in a while, it's okay. It's just like being in a relationship, everyone. You can't just sit there and just say, hey, honey, I'm gonna have the same meal, the same day, the same way, and nothing changes. Not even a little sal or pimiento, not some salt or pepper, anything. And if that loved one's okay with it, eventually they'll say that maybe to suffice you, or maybe they haven't dug deep enough, but maybe inside, internally, they're like, man, I wish some nights we could have pizza night, or empanada night, or my favorite pozole night. Like maybe I just wish I could switch it up a little bit. And just something. I wish it would just turn that way. It would just be the same routine going over and over. You have to make it intentional. Hey, this night, I know we've been having this, but let me just switch it up. Let's eat over here. Okay, let's eat in this. Let me put a little candle on the table. Or let me give the kids some, dinosaur chicken nuggets instead of the same, I don't know, turkey pot pie. Okay, I'm just saying, no shade. Pot pie is pretty good. So, but now, I want to just center this for a moment. Now, bring that into your personal life, right? How many times have you explained your heart in full paragraphs to somebody new while answering the phone, right? For the person who has stood beside you.
Let's take a quick break.
There comes a moment in life when you realize your story wasn't just survival, it was preparation. Every setback, every silent battle, every moment you wondered if you had anything left to give was building strength inside of you that was never meant to stay hidden. Because your story carries power, not performance, not noise, purpose. The kind of purpose that reaches people you may never meet, but desperately need to know that healing is still possible, that restoration is still real, that rising again is still within reach. That's why Story to Blessings was created, not as another stage, not as another spotlight for attention, but as a sacred space where lived experiences become living testimonies, where pain turns into wisdom, where survival becomes legacy, where voices once quiet rise with clarity and courage. Because when your story is shared with honesty, with heart, with truth, it doesn't just inspire, it ignites hope. And somewhere right now, someone is walking through what you already survived, waiting to hear how you made it through, how you kept going, how you found strength when everything felt uncertain. Your voice matters, your journey matters, and your story was never meant to stay buried in the past. It was meant to bless the future. So if something inside of you has been stirring, that quiet nudge, that sense that your story carries meaning, go discover more at www.realdoubledosechannel.com. Take a breath, take a look, and see what it could mean to turn your story into something that blesses others. Story to Blessings. Your story, your blessing, your legacy.
Right beside you with one cold sentence. And that's I'm gonna just repeat it for you again. Right. How many times have you explained your heart in full paragraphs to somebody new while answering the person who has stood beside you with one cold sentence? I know you can, and let me give you an analogy. Someone's standing by you and they're new to you. You're like, hey, nice to meet you. Or, hey, I haven't seen you again. Or, oh, you're looking real nice. And all of a sudden, it's like, whatever the case might be, the person who has stood beside you in your whole journey, you come at them like, what do you want? Leave me alone. It's not okay. I mean, I know things can happen, mood shifts can happen, different frequencies, but it's not okay to treat that person as though they're nothing when they've been there by your side. Right. And I don't know the gravity of that. I'm not saying a person who's been by you, who's hurting you or abusing you, any of that. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But in this context, someone who stood by your side, even a best friend, like, oh, that's cool. I'll hang out with you later. but I met this new person over here that's like a shiny object. So I'm going to just leave your friendship behind and go follow that. Not even knowing where it leads to or the other person's intentions, but then they want to come back and pick up the sticks with you. Or how many times have you tried to impress people who barely see you while overlooking the one who prayed for you, right? Listened to you, drove with you, cried with you, or told you the truth when a lie would have been easier. Okay, let's look at that, right? Kings and queens and people of many times and journeys want someone to tell them the truth, not someone who's just scared and fearful for their life. I mean, some are just wicked, people in power, but I'm just saying, like, you want someone to tell me the real. Like, don't tell me I'm going to live when I just got bit by a poisonous snake and I feel it coursing through my veins. Tell me I need to get some help, So some of us are not addicted to people. We are addicted to being newly chosen. And that's the truth. The new person gives us a fresh chance to prove that we are lovable, brilliant, needed, spiritual, useful. Excuse me. Not spiritually useful, but spiritual, useful, or worthy. But a life, cannot be built on auditions. They can't. You're constantly auditioning. It's not going to work. And at some point, we have to stop performing for the uncommitted and start participating and practicing appreciation with the committed. So when I go to the FMV, right, or that journey of it, that brings me to the FMV, fair market value, as they use in terminology. In a market, value is partly what a willing person is prepared to exchange for something they believe will help, delight, transform, protect, or elevate them. One person may look at an hour with you and say 35 cents. Another may say $32. Somebody else understands the years, the scars, the knowledge, the access, the shortcut, boom, the strategy, and the transformation inside that hour, beloveds. And they may say $3,200 or $32,000. Perception. All right. Their offer is not your soul's appraisal. Okay. So don't get that in your brain. It's not. Don't ever embody that, right? But please hear me. The market can price a service, but it cannot price your humility and your humanity. A person can reveal what your time is worth to them, but they don't get to sit in God's chair and declare what you are worth in total. Sometimes the offer, right, is low because the fit is wrong. Sometimes your value has not, it hasn't been explained. And sometimes your packaging is confusing. Sometimes they truly, can't afford it. And sometimes they simply prefer to take what you keep making available for free, your time, your energy, whatever it might be. So I just want to give that. And let me get another part to that, right? The donut lesson, I like to say, and I've heard in different variation, but think about a donut. Somebody sees a donut for $3 or $4 and they say, this is all a donut is worth. I'm not going to pay no more, sprinkles or not, boom. Then they see another one for $200 because it has rare ingredients, right? Maybe some gold flakes, a famous name to it, like a beautiful box, scarcity, and a little story, Then somebody creates $1,000 pastry experience, right? It might look like a donut, but it arrives with a setting, a ceremony, custom service, photographs, a pairing, maybe a particular drink or milk or whatever, soy milk, almond milk, thick milk, something, right? A preparing and a memory, a pairing and a memory for what you have, or just the memory itself. So the customer's not only buying flour and sugar, okay, azúcar, they are buying the whole experience. I want you to encapsulate that, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to sprinkle gold on emptiness, okay? Glitter cannot rescue a lie. I'm saying that some of us carry rich ingredients and real transformation, but we keep delivering it in an unmarked paper bag. That's the truth. We don't name it, and we do not name the outcome. We don't, explain the experience, and we don't protect the access. We don't show the evidence. Then we become angry when people compare our deepest work to the cheapest thing they can find. I'm telling you. It's just one of those things, beloved. It's one of those things, And ultimately, we have to be able to have discernment for that. And while we're talking about the donut, let's take this conversation one step further, because a donut is not the only everyday item that reveals how differently people assign value. All right, so think about a bottle of water. This has been out here before, but I'm gonna say it in my take, okay? It may be the exact same water from the exact same source, placed inside the exact same type of bottle, okay, at the grocery store. Somebody may pay $1 for it, right? At this point right now, let's just be real, $1.35, okay? At a convenience store, it may cost them $3, right? At the airport, it might be $5 or $6, seriously. Inside an upscale hotel, okay, private event, luxury retreat, or exclusive experience, somebody may be willingly pay $15 or $20 for that same bottle of water, right? And even higher. Some people go for just even a name on some of the experiments they did, the feeling of it, or call it some kind of rare place. They'll pay $1,000 for that bottle of water. And their testing shows that they just grabbed it from some random place and had a filter through it, probably at that point worth 45 cents. I'm telling you. Like they had, I forgot the name, it was called, it was actually Payless, but they named it Payless or something. It's something you can see online, some experiment. I'm not endorsing or rejecting. I'm just telling you what I saw, right? But they had that, and typically a person would say, "Oh, that's Payless." They try to devalue it because it says Payless with some great shoes up, but the same shoes that were in Payless and Paylessy or whatever the name was, don't quote me on it, they had made the whole store look a little bit more upscale, kind of luxury, or just centered it that way and put the shoes up and marked the bags and everything up like 10x, 10x. And people were saying, "Oh, I would buy this for this. Oh, the material feels like this." And at the ending of the reveal, when they all paid for those high prices, they're like, "Well, this is Payless." So you basically could have got those boots for $85 or $65, but you're willing to pay $3,200. It's the value perception, just saying, right? I just want to say that. So the water didn't suddenly just become more worthy because it entered a more expensive building. Its substance did not wake up that morning and decide to become premium. So what changed was the environment. What changed was the access, okay? What changed was exclusivity, let's be real, and the urgency, the convenience, the presentation, the service, the timing, and need surrounding it. Exclusivity, okay? It does, not pompousness, but exclusivity. So a person standing in the grocery store may say, "Okay, I would never pay $20 for water." All right, that's understandable. But let the same person become thirsty inside a place where no water is available. Now hit that. Hit it. Let me hear me again with my little cranberry voice grogginess. Bear with me. But think about that. That same person can become thirsty. And they just said, "No, I'm not paying $20 for no water." No $20 for no water, right? And I get it. But when you're thirsty, it's at a place where no other water is available, and suddenly the conversation changes. The value they assign to that water is now connected to what they need, beloveds. Okay, so where they are. And some people can say that, like, "I don't want to be with this person. I don't want to do this. I don't want that plate." But let that person get hungry. "Oh man, that sounds good. I don't care. Let me get that plate." Let the person get lonely. "Oh, I don't care. I'll hang out with them." But you should never be the last on the list for anything. But it still shows you the value of what's needed when the time is happening in the need. I'm just saying, right? So it's just the conversation changes. So the value they assign to that water is now connected to what they need, where they are, what they can access, and what problem the water solves at the moment. So this is another dimension of fair market value. So sometimes people are not rejecting the substance inside you. Okay, they simply do not recognize their need for it in their present environment. Sometimes they have access to something they believe in or believe is similar. All right. Sometimes they're standing in a room that has trained them to expect everything from you for free. All right. Sometimes your wisdom is sitting on a grocery store shelf, okay, when it was created to serve something walking through a spiritual, emotional, rational, or relational, or professional desert. But when, and even then, okay, we have to remember something deeper. The room does not create the water, and the customer does not create your God-given worth whatsoever. God is a source of the gift. God knows what he poured into you, what it costs you to carry it, what you survive while developing it, okay? And who will need it when their season of thirst arrives. Amen. A market may help establish a price for your service, but the market can't issue the final verdict on your purpose. A customer can decide whether your offer is right for them, but they cannot sit in God's chair and determine whether your life, wisdom, testimony, or calling has value. Absolutely not. And this is where stewardship enters the conversation, though. If God gives us water, we should not contaminate it. All right. If he gives us wisdom, we should develop it. He gives us a platform. We should use it responsibly. If he sends customers, listeners, supporters, prayer partners, okay, friends, family members, or members of the family, or collaborators who genuinely pour into what we are building, right? We should not treat their faithfulness like background noise while spending all our energy chasing people who only appear when something seems free or is free, right? So we must honor that, right? We have to honor that and honor the people God has already sent. So that doesn't mean we stop welcoming new people. No, it means we stop acting as though new attraction is always more valuable than proven investment. Sometimes the person who purchased one cup of coffee, shared one episode, offered one prayer, all right, wrote one encouraging message or a hashtag, hey, what's up, Lex? That meant a lot. Thank you, beloveds. Or sat and truly listened has contributed more to the life of the vision than somebody who has been watching for years while only asking what else can they receive. That's the truth. Now, take the same principle and make it and place it inside the conversation about the clothing. Imagine one beautiful outfit, the same fabric, the same stitching. And I'm getting this up so I can hone in to the one that's listening to this episode, the one who doesn't have to click off in 5 minutes because it might not be alluring enough for them. This is for the person who's stewarding inside of them and on a journey, who hears what I'm saying, no matter how groggy my voice may sound or not, it's here, right? Okay, so I'm going to say that. So just imagine one beautiful outfit, the same fabric, the same stitching, the same color, the same design. And one day, the outfit is donated to a community clothing center. Okay, somebody may glance at it and assume it has very little value because it was donated, right? A lot of people do that. I used to volunteer with my friend when I was a teenager in Goodwill. Let's be real. She had some restitution to pay. I didn't know she was in trouble at the time. I was just, around 15 or so, just hanging out with her. But it was fun. It was a fun experience. So somebody may glance. Oh, I'm just saying that because people will like, oh, I'm not getting anything from Goodwill or here and there. But I'm like, girl or man or boy, whatever. The same clothes you wear inside the store and you try on and you put back on the rack, it was used too. Remember that. Okay. So somebody may glance at it and assume it has very little value because it was donated. They may walk past it without touching it because the environment has taught them to think, oh, donated means unwanted, outdated, or dirty or insignificant. That's the truth. So place that exact outfit, right, inside a regular retail store, neatly pressed and hanging beneath clean lighting, and someone may willingly pay $50 or $100 for it. That's the truth. Now take the same outfit, style it carefully, place it inside an upscale boutique, provide professional or personal service, tell the story behind the design, create a beautiful experience around it, and somebody may pay $500 or more. Man, even 1,000, 2,000, we don't know. We don't know. So the outfit, it didn't become a different creation simply because it entered a different room. The room changed how people perceived it. And that's exactly what happens to many of us. In one environment, people may overlook your gifts because they have become familiar with you. They remember where you started. They remember when your work was free, right? They remember when you were still learning and healing and rebuilding or trying to survive because they met you in the donation season. They refuse to recognize that God has developed, refined, strengthened, and elevated what you carry, all right? Then you enter another room and people immediately recognize the craftsmanship. That's where it comes down to. And that's what it is when they realize that. So they hear the wisdom, they respect the experience, they see the discipline, sacrifice, prayer, survival, preparation, and transformation sown into your life. They are not only looking at the outfit, they are recognizing what went into creating it and what becomes possible when it is placed in the right environment. But we must be careful here because this is not a conversation about believing that expensive automatically means better. A donation center can, basically preserve dignity, serve families, restore confidence, and become part of God's provision. An upscale boutique can sell an empty store, right, wrapped in expensive lighting, and neither poverty nor luxury automatically reveals the presence or absence of God. The lesson is not that one room is holy and the other one is worthless. The lesson is that different rooms assign different values, all right? That's where I want you to get the key honing in, beloveds. And none of those rooms have the authority to rewrite what God placed inside the gift. Presentation matters, environment matters, communication does matter, service matters, right? The experience matters. But none of those things should be used to manufacture a lie. They should help people recognize genuine substance overall. And that applies to business, but it also applies to relationships. Some people will meet you in a season when you are pouring out everything for free. Okay, let's get that. Put a check mark. And they will become offended when you finally establish a boundary. Oh, you're shady. Oh, you're changed. Oh, you had more of an investment in me staying the same, even though I was miserable. You still were smiling. You never asked me, hey, why you won't smile with me? Because you knew you were the reason why I wasn't, or part of the reason why I wasn't smiling. Okay. And some people will appreciate your prayers, but never ask who is praying for you. Okay, they'll consume your emotional labor, your advice, your food, your money, your transportation, your connections, and your time while acting as though you're a liability. Yeah, liability. I see, that's my tongue twister coming in. My voice got a little stagnant right there. Acting as though your ability to give means you have no need to receive. And that's what pisses me off. It really irritates me how people can take. I had so many people in my life that just take and drain. And I'm still trying to cut them loose, and I'm still cutting it loose, and the remnants and the residue. But it almost makes you think, who are you? Are you so want to be blind in your mind that you just take and just try to live so guilt-free that you just disrupt anything going on with me because you don't want to take accountability for what you're not giving back in return? Reciprocity lives somewhere. It does. But godly stewardship requires us to ask whether we're helping someone grow or teaching them to live through, extraction. That's what it is. At the end of the day, love does not require us to make ourselves spiritually empty. Generosity doesn't mean abandoning discernment. Service doesn't mean becoming everybody else's unlimited supply, while the people who genuinely invest in us receive whatever happens to be left. So whether we're talking about the donut, the bottle of water, the donated outfit, the retail rack, or the upscale boutique, the deeper message remains the same. The market may respond to presentation. People may respond to urgency. Different rooms may assign different prices, but God remains the source of our identity, right? Identity. Be careful for that one coming up because you're going to have a good old time. But that event coming up, yes, I have to say it. Okay, of our identity, right? God remains the source of our identity, the purpose, gifts, and the intrinsic worth. Our responsibility is to steward what he gave us, beloveds, communicate it clearly, deliver it with integrity, protect it with discernment, and appreciate the people who have already demonstrated that they're willing to participate in what God is building through us, right? Not the aftermath, not the putting us down before thinking that they helped build the structure, because they didn't. A low offer is information, right? A familiar room is an environment. A rejection is a response, and none of them is God's final verdict. And perhaps the real question is not simply, what am I worth? What does this person think of me? Boom. No. Perhaps the deeper question is, am I faithfully stewarding what God placed inside me? Think about that. And am I holding and honoring the people he has already set and sent to help it grow? Because honestly, we have to recognize those things inside what's going on. There's also a spiritual and emotional line here that comes along with what we have going on. And with that, generosity is beautiful. Extraction is not. Remember that. Love may be unconditional, beloved, but access doesn't mean, okay, it does not have to be that unconditional, just come on, take whatever you want. Forgiveness may be free, but closeness requires evidence. You have, and you can have compassion for what or why somebody only knows how to take and still decide that your life will not remain their unlimited free trial, right? That's the whole thing. But ultimately ask yourself, who receives my premium energy, premium offer, right? My premium energy, who has actually invested, who comes to participate and who only comes to collect. Look at that. And it's not judgmental, but man, this person, every time I see them, they're always coming around with their hands out. Always got a problem I got to fix. Always got something going on. And it's not to say you're not thankful for being able to do that, but it makes you feel like, man, can you just come to me with a smile sometimes and a cup of fries? Really? I'm just like, let's just call it what it is, right? So ask yourself, who receives your premium energy? That's something I want you to come across in yourself. Who comes to participate, right? Not just to collect. And where am I mistaking being needed for being loved? Okay. There's a difference between someone needing you only and loving you. Love doesn't make you feel like you're only needed for what they need or the situation. So where am I pouring into new possibilities while starving proven relationships? I'm looking and pursuing this person or this thing and this thing, but I already have things that are proven. Don't get tired of the old when we can also become the old for someone else when they start looking for brand new, because we're treating them like they're the last 20,000 seasons behind and we're just tired of it already. Remember, what comes around does go back around. And who has quietly earned a thank you that I keep postponing? I think about that a lot. So we're going to get into some A-B action here. So here's the micro transformation I want to give you. Those who have stuck with this whole time and my voice, boom, let's get it. It's longer than what I expected, but it needs to be broken down like this. I'm speaking at you in a micro course way to get this and make transformational action move. I don't want you just, it's cool to hear some journeys and stories, and I got some extra tea for you. Trust me. My life has been decades and decades and decades and some sprinkles of years, and won't get too deep in the numbers. It's been enough. Okay. I'll keep you going for a minute, but I want you to take this with you and rewind it and keep it and download whatever you have to do to remember this about yourself. So the micro transformation I hope to leave with you is A is awareness. Okay. Letter A, like the first one in the alphabet, is awareness. Notice where the best of you is going. Okay. B is belief. Name what you believe the next person's approval will finally prove. C is choice. Choose to honor reciprocity. Reprice your work or protect your energy. Facts. D is doing. Within 48 hours, make an evidence of investment list. Write down who paid, prayed, listened, right? Referred, returned, corrected, cared enough, protected, or stayed. Then make your appreciation visible to at least one of them. And don't be afraid to do it either, okay? Just do that. This is not about shutting every new door. This is about refusing to abandon the people already inside the house while you stand outside waving in traffic. It is about knowing that a low offer is information, not a divine verdict, right? Even from someone else, like, oh, this person didn't like me. Oh, this person didn't stick around. They didn't call me back. Oh, well, that was an exchange of low information. If hopefully it wasn't too, if it was highly evolved enough, they'd still be highly around. That's what I'm going to say. So the conversation itself or whatever it might be, oh man, this person offered me, $150 for my offer. And I know it's worth, $1,000. Is it ego or is it you just not discerning, hey, this person wants to put me at a level they can only work with, maybe by circumstance, or they're only willing to give because they don't see the full value? And make sure you evaluate the value within yourself. Remember that. So whatever it is, whether work, home, relationships, do it in a safe space and understand it's not defined by that. Okay. It is about, basically making sure you get what you need to have. the final. It's about building business and relationship where value travels in more than one direction, beloved. So I'll leave you with that piece. But I will say, so I'll leave you with this. Let's put it this way. Where are you giving premium access to people offering bargain bin reciprocity? You're offering at a $5, $10, $20,000 level. Let's say even business too. This is all intertwining. Even a relationship, you're offering the full shebang, wife in a package, husband in a package, hopefully before, and not before they take that initiative to actually show you they're actually that material for you, vice versa. I'm just saying, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Like they said, the old saying goes. But okay, you're giving premium access to people offering bargain bin reciprocity. Well, you say 5,000, Hill. I say 500. Oh, okay, I'll take it. It's still something. Oh, well, matter of fact, that 500 may look like it, but I'm really at like $50. I mean, really, I don't even want to put any effort. So that $5 is the best I could go. You're like, how'd that come from $5,000 all the way down to $5? And I got to spend triple the energy for it. Think about that. And who has quietly earned more of your attention, your appreciation, your follow through, and your care, right? Honor the evidence. Okay, pour where something honest can grow, beloveds. Reprice what needs to be repriced. Protect what needs to be protected. And remember, you have to transform, ascend, and dominate it. No matter what you do or no matter where you want to apply what has just been shared with you over this, I don't even know amount of time, but I know I'm going to have to drink something. Okay, maybe, I don't know, about a little water or something, but I'm just going to leave it this way. Hopefully this marinates in you. I will be back with another segment and get this going on with you. This is your girl, Lexus T. All right, RDDC hashtag, okay, Lex Effect, Lex Affect. All right, we got Heck versus Hell with the Truth He Tells. We have many other things coming up, but I just want to say, be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of the spirit of what God put within you that's always flowing through you, to you, and with you. And remember, okay, hashtag customers only. And let's get into it because you deserve more than what you know. And I'm here to remind you of just how amazing that is. So I love you. And hopefully, God willing, I'm determined to be back with you very, very soon. Check us out at realdoubledosechannel.com. That's www.realdoubledosechannel.com. And also our hub that's still going to be open for a library. We hope and more at www.spiritandmind.com. Spiritandmindelevation.com. Knew I was missing something there. And you don't even know the rollout for the fashion apparel we have. This is beyond that. This is for the ministry temple / hub opening. We want all of you to come in and literally see it. It's Eden reimagined. I'm not kidding. Okay, been working in the works. The whole get up of wearing the source of God. It's so epic. I can't even go. Like, I can't even, the prison program ministries and everything else going on. It's so deep. I'm going to have a crowdfunding up, hopefully coming on. I'm going to have the Illumination of Self book rolling out soon, whatever it might be. I want you to be a part of it. You have been. It's going to be epic. And I want to have a lot of lives with all of you too, where we can just hang out, elevate, grow, get it together initiative. Just be looking out for that. You might see a posting, you might see an ad, you might see something. And now I just got to pop up for some webinar that I'll probably never miss, but still in the mix. Anyway, I just want to say I love you. You're amazing. And I just want to give you some tea on that. Listen out for it. And yes, be back with you very, very soon.